A 25-year veteran of the United States Navy and Navy Reserve, our next speaker knows what it takes to succeed in business. The President and CEO of Walmart USA. He oversees one of the nation's largest employers of veterans, including many active duty, Guard, and Reserve members. Walmart's charitable foundation has teamed up with the nonprofit Reefs Across America to ensure that our heroes resting in national cemeteries are remembered. A new member of the American Legion, I will be giving him a diamond membership pin. Ladies and gentlemen, the President and CEO of Walmart USA, Bill Simon.
Thank you all so much for having me here. What a great honor it is to be with you. I'd like to thank Commander Foster and the rest of the National Executive Committee for what, for me, is an incredible honor. Now, I know you're probably wondering why a CEO of Walmart would be addressing you here at your convention. I'm not a politician, and I don't really have anything for you. Actually, I want something from you, and I'm going to talk about that later. But I'd like to talk to you about what we see. We see America through a particularly unique lens, through the eyes of our customers. And I want to talk to you today about the issues that we're facing, veteran to veteran, and how we get this country that we all love back on track again, and the critical role that we all play in doing that. We all have similar stories. Mine starts at 22 years old when I checked aboard my first ship, a destroyer based out of Charleston, South Carolina, and met the captain, a man named Don Dyer. You can imagine I was nervous, as we all were. Now, Captain Dyer was a salty old sea captain, and when I presented him with my orders, at the very least I was expecting a lecture. But what I got was something that completely different, something that stuck with me my entire life. He sat me down, and he looked me in the eye, and he said, "I want you to know I trust you, that your country's counting on you. And while you might make mistakes, we're all in this together." And then he said, "Get out there and go do your job." Feeling of confidence that gave me has been one of the most enduring gifts I got from my service. And I know many of us have similar stories. That confidence that we gained in ourselves, our ability to do things we never thought imaginable, and what we can do together is what America needs today. It's what we need to bottle and deliver to our country. Now, my company, Walmart, has been called a microcosm of America. And let me tell you what we're seeing in our stores. Tonight, the 31st of the month, as every month, at the end of every month, around 11 p.m., crowds start to gather in our store, and we see families, young mothers, starting to shop, and they buy formula, diapers, things that they need. And they mill about the front of the store till about midnight, and then they start to check out. And why, you might ask? Well, we have a crowd at midnight on the 31st of the month because that's when the electronic benefits, electronic food stamps, hit their cards and they can check out. And I'm telling you, it will break your heart to watch. People lining up for food at midnight. And the only reason you do that is that you have nothing to feed your family for breakfast the next morning. We're open 24 hours. You could just as easily come in the morning. Our customers are working hard for their families, but the economy is not working for them right now. They feel like sometimes their leaders aren't listening to them. And then things like this credit downgrade, while it may not impact them personally, financially, it just hurts them on a gut level, hurts them for our country's sake. And you hear a lot of people say, maybe our country's in a bad time right now. Maybe things are bad in America. But many of you have seen what bad looks like. And while this is rough, it's not bad. It's certainly not Pearl Harbor bad or 9/11 bad. This is all man-made. 30 Americans, 17 of them Navy SEALs, making the ultimate sacrifice in Afghanistan. Now that's bad. In fact, a national tragedy. A credit downgrade, it's just Wall Street's opinion. These are not acts of God or war. They're man-made problems, and we can solve them together. What do I mean by we? I mean we, the people. We, all of us. In my case, we, the business community, or we, Walmart. But I also mean we, the people in this room, the people that are listening, veterans of American armed forces, those who've stormed beaches and parachuted behind enemy lines, stood watch on long, hot nights. Everybody's hoping the cavalry is going to ride in and save the day. But actually, we don't need to wait. We don't need to wait for that at all. Just think about our history. America's veterans, you are the cavalry. After World War I, the doughboys came home and we had the roar of the 1920s. After World War II, the GIs came home and led our country to the largest economic growth period in our history. Now, today, after 10 years of war, there's a new group of American men and women coming home, ready to lead us to the next American renewal. Now, I've got a ton of confidence in this generation. They're incredible. When I signed up to serve, we knew combat was a possibility, but this generation, for this generation, it's a probability. I recently had the privilege of taking part in my nephew's commissioning. He was just commissioned a second lieutenant in the United States Army. He's at Fort Rucker in Alabama right now, learning to become a helicopter pilot. He and his peers impressed me so much because 2, 3, 4 deployments, and still they answered the call of duty. They are why I'm so confident that everything's going to be okay. Now, for us, our obligation is to create the conditions for their success so that when they come home, they can lead us to a better day. This work of American renewal that we talk about, and you've heard it, is about jobs. It's all about jobs. And you know, we act like job creation is some big mystery, but we know how to create jobs. You hire somebody. People with capital employ others in a productive way. It's not really that complicated. With respect to jobs, now is not the time to retreat or wait. Now is the time to tackle our problems head on. I run Walmart US, a company founded by a veteran, and Walmart's helping tackle America's job problem. Today, I'm pleased to announce that Walmart will open more than 100 new stores by the end of the year, with new opportunities for new associates, and more than 15,000 people will be hired for these stores. We'll create more jobs by buying local products from people, things like produce grown by local farmers. And we're not stopping there. In October, we'll announce growth plans for next year. More stores, more jobs. I'm real proud of the jobs we have at Walmart. These are good jobs, good careers. Inside our stores every day, the American dream comes to life. For example, last year, we promoted 140,000 hourly associates. That's like giving everybody in Dayton, Ohio a promotion. And over 200,000 of our employees have been with the company over 10 years. There's actually one rumor about Walmart and Walmart's benefits that's true. If you work for Walmart and you're the spouse, and your spouse in the military gets transferred, we will guarantee you a job at your new location. Now, you've heard a lot this week about unemployment among veterans being too high, and it is. And we're doing something about it. I'll just come right out and say it. We love hiring veterans. Thank you. But frankly, it's selfish. Veterans not only have a record of performance under pressure, they're educated, technologically savvy, quick learners, and of course, team players. And while it's difficult to fact check, we're quite certain we're the largest private employer of veterans in the country. I'd actually like to introduce one of them to you today. Michelle Caraballo is with me here. She was a captain in the United States Army, and she was part of the surge in Iraq. And we didn't hire Michelle because she was a great retailer. In fact, she didn't have any retail experience when we hired her. But we hired her because she's a proven leader. And today, she's a successful store manager in Streamwood, Illinois, with responsibility for almost 400 associates and over $50 million in sales. And she has a very, very bright future in our company. Now, all the details of our veterans recruiting efforts are available on our new website, careerswithamission.com. There's even this really cool application where you can go in and enter your military background, and it'll tell you which jobs you would be qualified for at Walmart. I encourage everybody to check that out. And one last thing, and this is important. Walmart and the Walmart Foundation made a commitment last year of $10 million over 5 years to promote job training and entrepreneurship among veterans. Thank you. Now, we're on track already in the first year to give away, to donate $5 million of the $10 million in the first year. So I'm proud to announce today that we're doubling our commitment to $20 million over the next 5 years for veterans programs. So we're not waiting on government, on businesses, or anybody else. Frankly, if your business plan involves waiting for somebody else, I wish you all the best. We believe that there are a few things that our leaders could do, things that won't save the day, but sure could help put the wind at our backs. As I said, first and foremost, we can start by taking care of our veterans when they come home. It's our moral obligation, yes, but they have so much to offer our country. Second, we need to promote American exports, because more exports means more jobs. There's a couple of free trade agreements that are ready to go. Let's pass them, get on with it. Third, we need a comprehensive reform of our corporate tax code to broaden the tax base and lower the overall tax rate. This will unleash America's job creators. Every tax break, every incentive needs to be on the table. And finally, together, we can work to bring back American manufacturing. Rising international labor costs and fuel and transportation costs are making it much more efficient to source products locally and create local jobs. This is a real opportunity. And we at Walmart are working with our suppliers and helping tip the scales where we can. But revitalizing America's manufacturing base will take all of us, business, government, labor, and community leaders. It won't be easy. Actually, it'll be pretty hard. But it won't be Fallujah hard. And it starts by believing we can do it. So that's what the business community can do and what Walmart can do, and a few things the government ought to do. But I told you at the beginning I was going to ask you for something. Now I'm going to ask you, what can we all do together? I'm going to tell you another story, and I know you'll be able to relate to this too. In the spring of 1984, my ship sailed for home after being off the coast of Lebanon during that horrible tragedy. We stopped in Newport, Rhode Island for a port visit not far from my hometown of Hartford, Connecticut. This was the day long before cell phones, and I didn't tell my mom I was coming home. I just rented a car and drove. And to this day, I can remember exactly what it felt like to get out of the car in my dress whites and walk up to her house. I was never so proud to serve my country. I've never felt so good about myself, not before or not since. And you all know that feeling. That's what we need to recapture today. And why, despite everything that's happening in our country that might make us want to turn away, we love this country and we believe in its future. America is still the greatest nation on earth. It's still the most dynamic and the most free. This is still the best place to start a business, still the best place to fall in love, raise a family, and grow old. And if you're lucky, maybe even have a few grandkids. So let's all remember that feeling, that pride, that certainty that our best days are ahead of us. That's what's going to get us through. So here's what I need you to do. Join me in us and commit to this new generation of heroes as they come home. They're facing some incredibly tough challenges. We owe them that. But you know what? We're going to get back far more than we give. With these leaders, there's discipline, training, and a passion for service. And whether you finished your service a few weeks ago or a few decades ago, join us in this effort. Secondly, and all of us need to do this, go back to your communities and tell them about the American Legion and what you heard here this week. And remind them why you served this great country. Remind them why you put on the uniform, said goodbye to your loved ones, and traveled to faraway places. Why you got your orders and you grabbed your weapon and you looked our enemies in the eye. Remind them why you believed America was worth fighting for and dying for, and why you still believe that today. Pride, conviction, confidence are the first step towards getting our economy going again. We don't need to wait on anybody to do that. America's veterans can again lead the way. I know you've already given so much. It's hard to ask any more of you, but as I said, you were the cavalry. And like Captain Dyer told that nervous, hopeful kid so many years ago, I trust you. Your country's counting on you, and we're all in this together. Now let's go do our jobs. Thank you very much. Somebody had to do it. We got to drive you around some. And then go back to our beds and
That's
racks
right.
and have a nice
And
dinner.
3 times, but you know,
Yes, sir.
they dropped me